Stars of the 90s then and now. Time cannot be stopped. On October 5th, 1948, the Ashgabat earthquake killed 110,000 people in Turkmen, SSR. Photo of a Soviet war veteran near the Eternal Flame on the anniversary of Victory Day, 1966. In the Congo, Belgians cut off the hands of locals as punishment for poorly performed rubber-gathering work, late 19th century. Preparing a slave for sale, USA, 19th century. A North Korean propaganda postcard from 1988. The postcard depicts a South Korean defected soldier, his new wife whom he met in the North, and a Volvo car available to any decent North Korean. David Dellinger and Jerry Rubin nominate a pig for the position of president in Grant Park, Chicago, USA, 1968. School children of Russia, awakened by alarm. The photo was taken in 1937. Teeth filing in Indonesian tribes, 1938. Egyptians watching the airship Graf Zeppelin flying over the pyramids of Giza, 1931. A World War II veteran and participant in the storming of Berlin at the grave of his fellow soldier, May 9th, 1980. Several members of the Ku Klux Klan prepare to greet the Gay Pride Parade in Chicago, 1986. Lewis and Lola, survivors of the Titanic. Women cannibals, USSR, 1920s. Cossacks trained to overcome obstacles on horseback, 1910. Maria Mandel after her arrest by U.S. troops, 1945. She was a top-ranking official at Auschwitz-Birkenau responsible for the deaths of over 500,000 female prisoners. The atomic grandma and her relative grandpa, Marie Curie and Albert Einstein, 1920s. Chinese Americans protest against scrap metal exports to Japan. Your children and wives could be next. This metal will be turned into bullets, 1939. Passers-by gather to watch World War II, Hero Audi, Murphy visit a barber, Texas, 1946. Francesco Lentini, a man with a rare developmental anomaly from the island of Sicily. He was born in 1889 with 3 legs and 2 sexual organs, earning his living by working in a circus. The execution of counter-revolutionaries. Before the shooting, a sign listing their crimes was hung around their necks. China, 1968. Passengers boarding the Titanic, 1912. Girls learning golf using a mechanical trainer, 1925. This is a dog named Laika, the first dog in space. There were no plans for her return to Earth, and she died in orbit in 1957. Incredibly powerful earthquake in Alaska, magnitude 9.2, 1964. The last public execution by guillotine in France, 1939. Protest against prohibition, USA, 1932. In 1869, a caterpillar invasion struck America. In the photo, a group of volunteers is destroying the harmful insects. James Robert Rinrose was on the FBI's most wanted criminals list. When FBI agents arrested him, he told them he had prepared for the arrest, as he had been carrying the essentials for years, and handed them a free jail release card from the board game Monopoly. A soldier's knees give way when popular actress Linda Darnell invites him to dance. 1940s. An interesting device from the past. A face shield for protection during snowstorms. Canada. 1939. Fresno college students attempting to set a new world record for the most people on one bed. 73 people. 1961. Siamese twins Rosa and Joseph Blazek, and Rosa's lover, Franz Dvorak. France, circa 1945. Boys staring through a bakery window at trays of fresh pastries and bread. The beauty of Native American women. East German border guards observed the dispersal of protesters using tear gas on the other side of the Berlin Wall, 1988. After the 2010 Pakistan flood, spiders, finding no shelter on the ground, climbed onto trees in the Sindh province. This area became a true nightmare for people with arachnophobia. Roosevelt gets out of the car during his campaign trip to Hollywood. One of the few photos showing his paralytic condition, which journalists and photographers avoided showing during World War II. The release of one of Microsoft's most iconic operating systems, Windows 95. Over time, donuts changed. Native Americans tear down the statue of Christopher Columbus, Mexico, 1994. Women's clothing department in Russia, Moscow, 1990. In the 18th century, ladies carried a vinaigrette, a case with ammonia acetic mixture or dry-smelling salts. Due to corsets, they often fainted, and a few breaths from the vinaigrette helped them quickly recover. The fly whisk strike delivered by the ruler of Algiers to the French ambassador in 1827 over debt disputes served as the pretext for the French invasion and subsequent century-long occupation of Algeria, which lasted until 1962. In 1930, a terrifying discovery was made. It was a device with a skull inside, which mimicked the contours of a human body. This was how bandits, pirates, and murderers were executed. They were hung for display until they died. Chinese and Malayan girls forcibly taken by the Japanese to work as comfort women, World War II. It is estimated that up to 90% of comfort women died by 1947. A man who lost all his money in the stock market sells his Chrysler for $100. USA, 1929. 18th century spiked chair for executing witches. Death by blood loss. A woman in a gas mask walks with a stroller. Germany, 1942. An attempt to remove a psychiatric clinic patient from a tree. London, 1895. A visitor to the underground catacombs with a candle in hand smiles while examining an extensive collection of skulls. Paris, 1935. In 1923, an American inventor named Murphy struggled to sell the police the bulletproof vest he had designed. Officers were skeptical that a mere contraption could stop a bullet and refused to purchase his product. The stubborn Murphy finally put the vest on himself and stood facing the sheriff. A woman uses a special bandage to fight depression. Budapest, 1937. Soldiers celebrate the end of World War II, 1945. In 1979, FBI agent Hansen was tasked with finding a Soviet spy. The twist was that the spy was Hansen himself. A young woman writing a thank you note to her boyfriend in the Navy for the skull of a Japanese soldier that he sent. 1944. An Indian kindergarten textbook in which a white woman is portrayed as the ideal of beauty, 1990s. Professional mourner, Russian Empire, Estonia, 1912. In traditional funeral rites, she was hired to lament for the deceased. People fight for books, Plovdiv, Bulgaria, 1980. Nuremberg's kind hangman, John Woods. When his victim was suspended in the air, he would grab their legs and hang with them, shortening the suffering of the person dangling in the noose. He died in 1950 from an electric shock while repairing wiring in his own home. Prisoners of the Flossenburg death camp after being liberated by the 97th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army, May 1945. A soldier's return home, Vienna, Austria, 1946. Disabled activists leave their wheelchairs and crawl up the 83 steps of the U.S. Capitol, demanding the passage of disability rights legislation, March 12, 1990. Whiskey dispensing machine, USA, 1960s. A test of the strength of a pipe with the inventor inside, Canada, 1920. In the 13th century near Paris, the giant gallows of Montfaucon were built, which have not survived to this day. Executions for 50 people could be carried out there simultaneously. A lost and found room at a Paris police station, 1954. Mother and son watch a growing mushroom cloud during nuclear tests, Las Vegas, USA, 1953. After World War I, Britain faced a shortage of horses, and an elephant named Lizzie helped farmers plow fields and pull carts, 1919. In October 1989 in the USSR, a torpedo accidentally struck a submarine when the crew forgot to turn off its homing system during an exercise. The commander of the stricken submarine broadcast an emotional, profanity-laced message over the air. The absurd death of American dancer Isadora Duncan. Her scarf got caught in the rear wheel of a car, instantly breaking her neck. Nice, September 14th, 1927. How erotic comics were viewed in the USA, 1942. This 1915 rural school bus in the USA combined automotive technology with horse-drawn power, while cities were already transitioning to automobiles. Farmer Mrs. Maud Lee and her daughter Pat enjoy breakfast with their pet sheep named Betty. England, 1949. The head of an extinct dodo bird kept in the Ashmolean Museum in Oxford. This is the only preserved head of the extinct animal. In the 1930s, the Soviet Union attempted to create a human-chimpanzee hybrid through insemination. The experiments were unsuccessful and were discontinued. A pipe-smoking endurance contest at Yale University, 1959, USA. Daughters meet their father after the war, England, 1940. World War I. Shell casings fired at German positions. Native chief discussing Garrison Dam construction with officers, North Dakota, 1946. Days after the coup led by Augusto Pinochet in Chile, with U.S. support, there was a mass burning of Marxist books, Santiago, 1973. A Turk washes his feet for his final prayer, while Bulgarian soldiers prepare a gallows for him, 1913. Horse diving, a popular show where riders and horses jumped from an 18-meter height, 1969. The last photos of Adolf Hitler, where he is examining the ruins of Berlin hours before his death, 1945. Sailors of the Italian tall ship Amerigo Vespucci saying goodbye to their wives, Naples, 1963. Martin Luther King Jr. and his son removing a burned cross from their yard, 1960. Before Google Maps, there was a navigation helpline, 1963. A Polish resistance fighter checks her hair after a German air raid during the Warsaw Uprising, September 1944. 1753. Russian physicist Georg Wilhelm Richmann was killed testing atmospheric electricity. He accidentally created ball lightning that struck his forehead. In 1970, veterans tossed their military awards onto the steps of the Capitol building in Washington, D.C., protesting under the banner, "We will not fight in the rich man's war." World War II veteran playing guitar to survive, Japan, 1951. Pro-Khomeini militia fighters patrol the streets looking for the Arab population, Khorramshahr, Iran, 1979. Marlene Dietrich detained at a train station in Paris in 1933 for violating the ban on women wearing trousers. A gay wedding organized in 1921 by the young party member of the Baltic Fleet, Afanasy Shor. Shor hoped for praise and rewards from his superiors and gathered about 100 gay men, whom he then tried to accuse of a counter-revolutionary conspiracy, Soviet Union. An unemployed man sells ad space on his bald head for a sports magazine, Budapest, Hungary, 1939. They each drank only one glass of beer, Belgium, 1971. In 1940, 10 teenagers aged 14 to 17 were arrested for writing to Stalin condemning the unacceptability of sending grain to Germany while Soviet people are starving. They were sentenced to 10 years in prison. A mannequin head made from soap, toilet paper, and real hair used by John Anglin to escape from Alcatraz Prison, USA, 1962. A banquet of disfigured faces, dinner for French soldiers who were disfigured during World War I, Paris, 1925. In 1958, Clennon King, who applied to the University of Mississippi, was forcibly committed to an insane asylum. The judge who delivered the verdict explained, "A Negro must be insane if he thinks he can be accepted into the University of Mississippi." Whether this clip sparked joy, anger, or just a bit of annoyance, I want to hear your thoughts below. Stick around for part 2 coming soon. Please hit like and subscribe to support the channel. See you!